So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. So, good morning. Today I was thinking of sharing some of the misadventures at Redwood Vihara. I think people know that, I think maybe about a week ago, Dharma Master Lai came to visit the monastery. I was sharing one of the, you could say, lessons learned, a little bit embarrassing, during his visit. So, if people don't know, Dharma Master Heng Lai is a very senior monk in DRBA. He ordained at the same time as Reverend Heng Shi. I think he's in his 70s now. And he wanted to come down and take a look at Redwood Vihara and the work that was being done. So last week he stayed at the monastery, and I think it was maybe Monday morning, right? Monday morning. Monday morning. We thought to Dharma Master Lai, let's show Dharma Master Lai around the property. We can show him the well that we have, which is at the top of the kind of ridge. The Redwood Vihara is kind of a little bit in that valley, and up on a ridge is where the well is. So what we usually do is we have this very old truck, I think in 1974 Ford pickup, and it's kind of running okay, but oftentimes the battery doesn't work so well. The four-wheel drive is a little bit shaky, so it pops off, and the road going up to the well is also not very well maintained. So it's kind of, I remember the first time going up, I felt like, wow, this is kind of scary. I don't know if I can actually drive this road, because if I mess up, it's actually you fall off the mountain. But over the course of these last few years, little bit by little bit, we become more comfortable with the car and also the drive up to the well, so that we can make sure that the house has water. So in the morning, Jin-Chuan Shi and myself basically get in the pickup with our Master Lai and say, yeah, we're going to go up to the well. Okay. And so first, the car doesn't quite start properly. We realize, okay, the parking brake was left on. So, okay, turn off the parking brake. Okay, let's get our car going. And then thought, okay, we have to bring the walkie-talkies. Basically, one of the volunteers who helps out encourages us to go up with the walkie-talkie just in case anything happens. So one walkie-talkie can be left down at the house, and the other one we can bring up to the well so that if something happens, for instance, we get stuck, a tree blocks the road, so on and so forth, we can use the walkie-talkie to ask for help. So we grab the walkie-talkie, and we're with our Master Lai, driving up to the well. So he's come, well, this truck is really old. I said, yeah, it's really old. And so we're driving, going up, and we actually have two tanks. We have one tank which is about in the middle, and one tank at the very top where the well is. So we drive up, and we get to the first tank, and we park the car, and we show our Master Lai the first tank. Oh, yes, this is our first tank. You know, the other tank got burned during the fires, and so we had to replace it. So, okay, all was well and good. We get back in the truck, and then we try to start the truck again, and it doesn't start. So is the battery dead? Gosh, this is not a good sign. So you try it some more. Our Master Lai looks at the truck and sees the gas meters all the way at empty. He's like, "Are you have gas?" I said, I don't know. And we're like, gas. Does the gas meter work? At that time, I think my mind was a little bit in a covering mode. So I'm like, I'm not sure if it works. In my mind, I was actually thinking that our truck leaks gas. I don't know why, but my mind was somehow stuck on this idea that the truck leaks gas. And I was well, kind of, I said 2020. I was like, what's 2020 mean? My mind wasn't kind of really working properly. It's like 50-50. It was like, and then was like, I don't think our gas really works. I think we might be out of gas. And I get the life flasher going, oh. These two monks don't know what they're doing. And so, okay, fortunately we had the walkie-talkies. So we call down to the prajna house with the walkie-talkies, and we say, we got a little problem here. I think we're stuck, and we probably need gas. Would it be possible to drive up here with some gas? But just so happened, the volunteer that was there hadn't driven his truck. So he says, I don't have a truck, so somebody has to walk up the gas. So okay, so they'll wait for someone to walk up with gas. So one of the guys came up with gas, and so we're there with Life Asher, and we kind of said, okay, then maybe we can walk around outside. So Life Asher says, okay, I'm just going to walk back down. Back down to the house. So we're like, okay. Of course, at this point, it's pretty embarrassing. And Life Asher also recently broke his leg. He actually, I think his foot was pretty severely injured. But he's more or less recovered, but he walked a little bit with a limp. But he's walking down the path back down to the house, so, we join him. And we meet the other man coming up with, a few gallons of gas for the truck. So we say, hi. And Life Asher's, walking down, and Jing Shi says, okay, I'll go with the man up to put gas in the truck. And so I'm with Life Asher going down the rest of the way. Later, Jing Shi shared with me, and similar had the feeling, which was quite interesting, was after the initial kind of like, are you guys out of gas from Dharma Master Lai? He didn't continue to bring it up. It was it. Okay, you have no gas. He didn't scold us. He didn't make us go on a guilt trip or anything. It was just like, okay, that's pretty stupid. No gas. Okay, next. But as I walked down with Dharma Master Lai, he asked me lots of questions. So, why is the well up on top of the ridge? Shouldn't it be lower than the house? Don't you want to go to the lowest place for water? was like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Why is it up on the ridge? Says, how that makes no sense. Why would the person put his well so far away from the house on a ridge? It's like, yeah, that's a good question. He says, so where's your sewage? Where does your sewage go? Well, it's over here. He says, well, why is it above your house? Shouldn't the sewage be below your house? I'm like, well, that's a good question. I don't know. Where's the pump then? How do you get the sewage up above the house? Do you have a pump? Yeah, I think we have a pump. We would have to have a pump, right? She asks me all these questions about the house. And I feel like almost none of the answers. So I just got like, so how about the utilities? What do utilities cost? Well, I don't know, actually. The utilities get sent to another monastery. You really should get the utility bills. You should know how much you're spending, just so you know. Just in case anything happens, at least you can pay attention. So, yeah, good idea. You should make sure you call the other monastery and get the bill. Like, okay, I'll do that, Life Washer. Yeah. I went back and emailed the monastery to get the bills. It was just an interesting visit, get back to the house, show them around. And I think there's a couple of lessons that I learned from just Life Washer's visit that stuck with me. Number one, to actually make sure I don't lose a kind of inner kind of composure and reflection. I remember driving up to the well and having this thought, maybe we should add gas to the car. It's pretty low. But I overrode the thought. So that's okay. No, everything will be fine. We have to get on the road. And, just that kind of, because maybe Life Washer's there and there's maybe a sense of wanting to show up, in a kind of competent way and having things done, I just missed that thought, The second was getting up to the well and Life Washer asking me about the gas and if the meter worked. And that immediate first thought of, again, trying to want to show up competent and covering over, what's obvious. Trying to spin a story another way, which wasn't very convincing anyways. Second lesson. Another lesson was, walking down with Life Washer back to the house and realizing, what, I really don't know much about the property. About just kind of the basic utilities. And if I'm going to be responsible for the land and the monastery, I should learn about, these basic things. It's not about just meditating or, doing my own stuff, but actually really being responsible. And so it was actually kind of a very meaningful visit, having Life Washer come, because it had all these kind of simple lessons. There's no lectures from Life Washer. He's not one to lecture. He's just very matter of fact, very direct, but also very humorous, and also doesn't hold on to anything. So as he leaves the monastery, I think all of us were very happy to have hosted him. And I think it was a chance for us to, at least for myself, to reflect. There's still a lot to learn for sure, but there's also a lot of gratitude for having the opportunity to have one of our senior teachers come down to spend a weekend at Redwood Vihara. So some of our stories in our kind of history of the monastery. I'm sure as the days and weeks and months and years go by, there'll be more lessons to learn. And I don't know, probably I'll have to be a little bit more careful. Okay, so maybe just that much for this morning. We'll do our 3 steps, 1 bow. And for those who have been following us, we're not going to be doing our Amitabha session today. We moved it to after the bowing repentance, so May 21st to 23rd. Hope you can join us then. Okay, Amitofo.